Hey, Rest Friends. My name is Edie.
And my name is Teddy.
And my name's Joey.
And welcome to another episode of Rest Friends. We are here again another week. We're going to talk about wrestling, and we have a special guest with us. Teddy and I are super excited to have this great friend, great wrestler, Joey Mayberry, with us, guest hosting. Joey, how are you?
I am wonderful. I am here in my little makeshift nerdy corner set that I have for Ring the Bell in my own show. And I tell you, it's been a crazy little couple weeks, but overall I'm doing good. How are you guys?
I'm doing great. I'm safe. I'm healthy. Rest Friend, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm healthy, yeah, as well. I'm healthy. I got everything I need, but yeah, it's a little crazy out there. It's a little hard not to focus on what's going on.
Yeah, it is.
How are you guys doing with all of that?
It's I don't even know how to talk about some of the things that are happening.
Last night was a little piece in my life. The night before, I heard a lot of yelling, a lot of things that kept me up to like 4:30 in the morning because I was just like, I don't know what's going to happen outside my house, so I'm not going to sleep.
Yeah.
But it's gotten a lot better, so it's really nice.
Yeah, I think this week is going to be a new week. I'm excited for the things that are going to come after this. There's going to be a lot of rebuilding. So I'm excited to see what that Chicago looks like. As you guys know, if you watch a lot of our episodes, Teddy and I are based in Chicago. Joey is too. So we are here for the cause, guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we are excited for what's to come. So let's see what happens.
And Black Lives Matter, everyone.
Black
for the
Lives
love
Matter.
of God.
Yes, we are. Oh my God, guys! We cannot
Today, tomorrow, always.
All day. Let's get into talking about some wrestling, guys. There has been so much going on, so much, and I want to start talking about. We have a new champion on Dynamite, and that's Cody Rhodes. Teddy, what happened in Double or Nothing?
What happened in Double or Nothing? Cody Rhodes had a match against Lance Archer for the TNT Championship, and Cody Rhodes won. He has a championship. He is the first and current TNT champion. How do you guys feel about that? Did you guys want Cody to win, or were you guys rooting for Lance Archer? How do we feel?
So I love the match and the people that are in it, and I like who won. What I don't like is the belt that he won. I think it's such a bad belt.
Thank you, Joey. I looked at that belt and I was like, oh my God. Like, I don't like the women's belt, right? I don't think that's the best belt either. But to bring in another ugly belt, I was like, come on, guys. I thought y'all had money. Y'all had the coins.
I think the problem with the women's belt is that it's small.
That's it. It looks like a Fabergé egg.
It looks like it's like this big.
Maybe if they zoomed in and made it bigger, it'd be very nice. But
well, it's like I watched AEW. Yeah, but I watched AEW with my mom and my dad, and they'd never seen AEW before. Mm-hmm. So as we're watching the pay-per-view and Nyla came out wearing the belt, my mom just goes, that's not a championship belt. It's just a belt. And I was like, yeah, it's the truth. It's so little. Like when they wear it, it just looks like an over-accessorized belt. And we're from the South. We know big belt buckles. Like,
right.
And I don't mind the look. I do think it's small. I don't like the fact that it's bent, though it adds something different. So I can appreciate that, but I'm just like, did you guys spend all of your money on the AEW championship and then just forget about the other belts?
I guess so. There was that thing saying that the TNT championship is just a placeholder because of the COVID and the pandemic, which are the same exact thing. I didn't say the COVID and the
COVID and the pandemic.
That's my sitcom for it. Everyone come watch COVID and the pandemic. But legit, like, even if that was what you had to make do with, you couldn't find anything better with the amount of money that you guys probably have, because I've been on the indies for a little bit, and I've seen way better belts at small backwoods promotions. So I don't know where this thing came from.
Right.
And I know, yeah, we are in a pandemic. It was last minute, maybe, that they announced this championship to be brought in. But at this point, I'm like, I don't know. I don't like the color. I don't like the plates. I hope, AEW does a really good job of listening to their audience. So I hope that they see all of this backlash on Twitter and they're like, maybe let's change it.
I hope they do. I mean, they still haven't changed the women's belt yet, and like it's been called like tiny since its inception.
Yeah, maybe
But
they're
then
holding
again, they're
off on
just now
that
getting
one.
to. Yeah. Also, they're just now getting to the point where they're paying attention to the actual women's division. So maybe the belt will be next. I'm just spilling tea. There's no shade here. It's just
it's just facts.
It's just facts. Like even back in, I think it was what now, Teddy? You were on Ring the Bell like 3 months ago. At this point now, and we were just talking about how bad the AEW women's division was because they just didn't give them any attention. So the fact that we finally had 2 stellar matches out of the women at Double or Nothing is just a breath of fresh air at this point.
I know. I feel the same way because I don't have a problem with the women's division. I think their women's division is great, but they're just not using them.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because those women are talented.
Very talented.
I mean, yeah, and they only use 4 of them. Come on, give me some big swole.
Yes. I need less of people on AEW Dark and more of those type of matches on the main roster, like on the main show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Spitting straight facts, girl.
Well, speaking. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, Respect. Go ahead.
I was gonna change the subject.
I was gonna change the subject.
I was gonna say, speaking of the women's division.
Oh, you go for it. Go for it.
Shida is our new women's champ. And I don't know about you guys, but I love it. I love her. I think she is one of the best that AEW has. And she's so cute. She's so adorable. They've also been using her a lot, so it makes sense that she is the women's champ now because Nyla was rarely on TV. I get it, the whole pandemic, right? But, it makes sense that now Shida, who was wrestling weekly on TV, is our champ now. So.
Yeah, Joey, what did you think about Shida?
Oh my God, that match at Double or Nothing was like the best match that if it wasn't for, the fact that we had the Stadium Stampede match later on in the night, that was my match of the night. Like it was better than the Casino Royale ladder match. Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought those 2 women came out and not only did they meet my expectations, they surpassed them like hardcore. I was just popping left and right. And then when freaking Shida popped Nyla Rose with that kendo stick and she let out that high pitch, like, I lost it. I was good. I was like, from there on out, we're good. Let's go home. We're good.
Oh my God, Joey. So I love talking to you about wrestling because you are a professional wrestler. And you know the names of the moves and you know how they're supposed to be taken and you know that they hurt and all of these things. You're just so knowledgeable about wrestling. So I just like getting your opinion on things because it's a more in-depth conversation and it's just something different.
Yeah. Do you want to know? So weird thing about why wrestling's so weird because when I first started training, it was down at Team Vision Dojo in 2013, and everyone was like, if you want to find cool moves, you got to go back and study the 80s, and you got to go back and watch tape from the 90s and watch early 2000s tape and just study tape. And I didn't like that because I didn't start watching wrestling until 2000. So like none of the 90s wrestling or the 80s wrestling was like appealing to me. Like just there's certain superstars like I'll go back and I'll watch some stuff like Stone Cold, Ric Flair, like no duh. But I cut a lot of my moves and learned a lot of like how kicks are supposed to look when they land and stuff because I went back and I binge watched Power Rangers and that was it.
Wait, so are you telling me that your inspiration for wrestling was not actually wrestling and instead it was Power Rangers? Because
oh my God. Legit. Hold up. My 2 inspirations for wrestling are right here. These 2. Like this is why.
I love it.
I love that.
There was one I remember it was a practice session that I had, and it was with Chico Adams, who we were talking about earlier. And it was just a spot that I actually saw the Yellow Ranger do, where literally the person was running and she hits a standing, just nice back elbow to just make the person fall down, and then jump both legs up, nail in the section, then just start scissor kicking into the gut. And I did that move, and people were like, "Oh my God, you saw this from like Japanese wrestling, and you saw this from New Japan." I was like, "Nope, it was totally Power Rangers." Like, that's where I got it from.
Like, no, you're wrong. That's not where I saw it. Oh man, that's why. Oh my, I think just talking about wrestling with you is just it's so different because because Teddy and I could talk about wrestling all day, but we don't know what it's like to take a hit and how it's like. Sometimes we're like, oh, okay, it looked cool to us, but then everybody's over here talking like about, oh no, they didn't take it right, or oh no, they were supposed to do this, and Teddy and I were like, oh wait, they weren't.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's just kind of one of those things where you can watch after you've done it for so long, and after you've felt it, you'll see somebody's body land a certain way, and you're just like, oh, like one little bump, like even if your foot's put in the wrong spot. There was one on a recent episode of Raw. It was the Iconics versus Bliss and Nikki Cross. And I think it was the windmill kick that Peyton Royce gave to Nikki Cross, and Nikki bumped, but her one foot just stayed flat-footed. So she bumped with one leg flying out, and the other one kind of went up under her butt. And I was like, oh no, because that can just like screw your ankle up in like 2 seconds and you're done.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Speaking about injuries, we had Britt Baker with an injury that's took her out till All Out, which is going to be what, August, September, maybe?
All Out is
She's in a wheelchair
beginning of
right now.
September.
She's going through a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
I know.
weren't they saying like Fighter Fest is going to happen like at some point? Like
some point. I mean, all the wrestling is going to happen at some point, right? Like,
yeah, but I want to say they said that like for the Jon Moxley match that was coming up, they're like, these two are going to come head to head at Fighter Fest whenever that's scheduled to take place.
Right after
Oh,
Blood
that's
and
true.
Guts.
You're right. Oh, Blood and Guts. Oh, Blood and Guts.
Yes.
You know, not War Games.
Not War Not War Games at all. Don't make that connection, Joey.
Oh, okay. It's just that other match with 2 cages on top of 2 rings.
What's next? What do we got?
FTR.
Oh.
FTR.
Oh.
Oh man.
How are we feeling?
I feel all sorts of ways about Dash Wilder.
Okay, tell us, Joey.
Tell us how you feel. Express these emotions.
Oh, I'm thirsty as that's it.
Okay.
Sorry, no, that man is one of my top 5 wrestling crushes. So as soon as he popped out that door, I was like, oh, I love it. Thick thighs make a dick rise. And oh God, I love it.
We were kind of suspecting that, FTR would come out in an AEW. They have been teasing it on being the Elite for a little bit. But were you expecting it, so soon?
No, which is why it's so great. I was legit surprised. I was legit in my kitchen watching this, like, OMG, OMG, OMG for like, I don't know, it was like 10 times OMG. I was so surprised. I was so happy to see them. I think they look great. They look better than when they were in WWE. They have this glow.
I don't know. They look like they slept for some days. Like they had some face masks.
Yes.
They had some sleep.
Oh, okay. It looks like you guys are rested. Yeah.
Yeah. They look they look great.
They're rested. I mean, I don't know when I was expecting it. It was probably honestly once they announced that they were released, I was just like, okay, they're going to turn up at some point. Like it's just going to happen soon.
That's it. It's happening.
So,
next episode. We got this.
See, that wouldn't have even surprised me because it was just the amount that those two went back and forth with the Young Bucks, even when they were signed to WWE. I was just like, it's just going to happen. Like and honestly, I feel if there's somebody who has that same mentality that might head the same direction, it looks like possibly Sasha Banks.
Oh man.
Oh.
That
Or it's just like,
that
I'm just
would be
waiting for my
crazy.
contract to expire and then I'm just jumping ship. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be so crazy? Because she's part of the 4 Horsewomen. So if she
Oh
was
my
to
God! If
leave,
oh
that
Lord
would
Jesus,
cause so. Oh my goodness.
if Becky Lynch comes back to wrestling and is no longer in WWE, if she makes her comeback in AEW, I will lose my mind. Lose it.
That would be
No
crazy
way.
because Becky has it all in WWE. So if
I
Becky was to
know.
leave, that would be
Mhm.
insane.
It would be a
But I
whole new
do
world.
see, I do see someone like Sasha leaving WWE
And
for sure.
going
I
to
could see
AEW
Sasha.
specifically or somewhere else?
I could see her doing AEW specifically, just
I
because
do see her. Yeah.
she loves that style, because AEW is like indie show to its maximum level.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
it's WWE is a very stylized form of wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, they want you to do everything the WWE way.
She's had good matches in the main roster, but they haven't been as great as what she had in NXT, like with Bayley. And
Mhm.
AEW would allow her to have those type of matches, and on Dynamite or whatever in AEW. So I agree with Joey. I think she goes specifically to AEW.
Now,
Mhm.
disclaimer, we have not heard anything about
No, we
Sasha going to
haven't.
AEW.
This
We
is
are not
just
breaking news. This is our speculations.
this is our speculation.
Ah, I hate that, because there's so many things that I can't say half the time, because it's just like not official, like it's not even like news, and then we're just like, we shouldn't say that because it's just going to get all the fans wound up. Y'all, we are opinion people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we our opinions.
Sure.
We talk about how we feel. Sometimes you
Yeah.
might not feel the way that we feel, but
Yeah.
tell us your opinion too. Like, do you think Sasha's gonna stay? Who knows? I don't know
Would
at
you
this point.
want her to stay?
I
Would you
didn't
want
even
her
know
to
about
leave?
this. I didn't even start thinking about this till right now.
Of the wanting, I would love to see her go. I don't think that
Yeah,
she's
me
being
too.
used in any way that she needs to be in WWE right now, other than she's
Yeah.
good for merchandising, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, she's
And
good.
they also, even though I don't watch it, but I see clips on Twitter, they keep kind of throwing that in her face, like, you're not a champ, Sasha. Oh, look, your Bailey's a champ, and you're just standing right next to her without a championship, Sasha. That's pretty freaking weird.
I don't know if they're trying to build towards like her taking the belt, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. I thought it
Like, it's
already
been
would have
so
happened.
long, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been
they're
so
just
Mhm.
dragging this
long.
on. Just give
Yeah.
her the damn belt.
But speaking
Just
of,
make her fight Bailey. You don't have to give her the belt. Just have them turn on each other. Because if they're not going to be in the
yeah,
tag division, then
Because they're
what's
not
the?
adding anything to each other right now.
yeah, yeah. Well, speaking of debuts, even though this person had already come on AEW, but he was injured, Brian Cage. How do we feel about Brian Cage? I want to know how you guys feel.
I thought it was a good addition to the match. He came out and I was scared. I was intimidated. He came out ripping a ladder and I was like, whoa, a little intense here, bro. It just added a little bit of a comedic factor. I think there was so much that you could do with Brian Cage. Like,
Yeah,
I loved the fact that they buried him under all of these things. That it
right.
took 4 men to carry a little, like a chip, double or nothing chip, and put it on top of him. I enjoyed it.
I love how you say little when it was like
Oh yeah.
humongous.
Like, it covered him.
It was a giant.
Like,
Well, I'm sure it was little because they're wrestlers. If it was me, I'd be like, oh, that shit was enormous, carrying it. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Did
I mean,
I
but it
know that he
covered
was?
Brian Cage's body.
Yes, it was sufficient. Did I know that he was gonna win as soon as he came out? I was like, okay, I don't think they're gonna give it to an Orange Cassidy right now. I don't think they're gonna give it to a Joey Janela. I think he came out. This is the surprise. I think I knew whoever the surprise was that they were gonna take it either way.
Okay.
Yeah, that part
How
was
about
pretty predictable. Brian Cage was somebody that got predicted, because I was doing the live stream for Ring the Bell for AEW for Double or Nothing, and people were just like shouting the name out, and I was like, you know what, that's a good possibility. And then all of a sudden, here he comes. I'm like, okay,
mm-hmm,
yeah.
mm-hmm.
You're like, yeah, that makes sense.
How do you guys feel about Taz being with him? If I could start.
Go ahead.
I love how I
best friend.
asked you guys, and I'm like, you know what? Let me tell you guys first. I like Taz. Taz is great. He's we know Taz is he was great in the ring, great on the mic. But I feel like a lot of people have said that it just reminded them of Brock Lesnar and Heyman, which I kind of agree. I see it. And I don't think someone like Brian Cage needs Taz. I feel like Taz could have gone with someone that like Brock Lesnar can't speak for themselves. We've seen Brian Cage on Impact, and the dude can talk on the mic, you know. So I guess we just have to see where they go from here. But how do you guys feel about Taz and Brian Cage together?
I love Taz. I think he's great. I don't like the idea of him being a commentator and a manager at the same time.
Okay.
That doesn't make much sense to me, even though I don't see much of Brian Cage probably being on Dark. He's probably just going to stick to the main show via that he's getting a push right out the gate. But like even on Dark this week, like Taz came on commentary and he's like, I just want to state that I'm not going to talk about Brian Cage. It's not going to happen. Yada, yada, yada. It's like, this is why I didn't want you. Pick one or the other. Live in one world at a time.
Right.
Yeah, I would hope that Taz's role is minimal. Taz is great, but we know that Brian can speak for himself and he can cut a good promo. So I would hope that it's more like of a backstage thing, that like maybe Taz does all the talking backstage, but then Brian comes out and like cuts a good promo and like wrestles the match. Because I know they're gonna have beef with Darby Allin at some point, because that Taz was trying to recruit Darby and Darby was having none of it. So we'll see what happens. I think they could do a lot of things with it. Who knows?
Yeah, I guess we'll see. Right.
Talking about new
we will
signings,
definitely see.
We have Deonna and Flip Gordon. Best friend, where are they going? What's happening?
Well, Flip Gordon.
Joey's
is there
eyes
something you want to say about
sparkled.
Flip Gordon,
Hold on.
Joey?
Let Joey start off.
I'm gonna give him his moment.
Go ahead, Joey. Talk about Flip Gordon.
I'm just gonna say the same things that I said about Dash Wilder.
Is he on your top 5? Who's your top 5? Let's talk about this.
Can we talk about your top 5?
Are we doing this?
Yes,
are we going
we're doing this.
Traps?
Let's do top 5.
Oh. Number 1 by far is Finn Balor. No lie.
Yes, we agree. I agree with Finn Balor.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like my husband does not watch wrestling. He is very, very kind and patient and tolerant with me. Does
he know about this top 5 list? He might after this episode.
He is a willing and active participant in this top 5.
Okay, that's great.
Number 2 is Dash Wilder.
Okay, he's up there. Okay.
Number 3 is so much Daddy Cesaro.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Oh.
Risk Superman hashtag me. But number 4 is gonna be Tony Nese.
Okay.
I know why you're saying Tony Nese. Okay, Joey.
He's just like, you just look and you're like, okay. You ever see something like so pretty, like one of those priceless like bracelets like at a jewelry store, and you're like, oh, I just want to look at it. I can't even touch it, like even if I had a chance to, kind of thing. That's Tony Nese. And then number 5 is a recent addition. It's Dominic Dijakovic.
Okay.
Really? Okay.
And then it's a new addition. He's still tied at number 5. I think it's number 5 is a tie. It's Dominic Dijakovic and Kip Sabian.
Kip?
Oh.
Really? Kip? Wow.
I'll take a super bad twink any day.
I started when I started watching AEW, Teddy was like, "Oh, I think Edie would like Kip," but I was like, "Oh, not really for me." But I do like that kind of pretty boy. Yeah.
Yeah, he has a gorgeous face.
I love that kind of
that accent.
I'm wondering if Restaurant Edie's gonna give us her top 5.
Okay, let's do it. We're taking out. We're taking an interview.
This is why I came on the show.
Okay, top 5. Oh my God. I'm gonna get
This
so
is so
judged
hard
for
for
this
her.
from Joey. This is so hard for me,
Are
Joey,
you gonna
because
start at 5 or 1?
I think I'm gonna start at 5. I think I'm gonna start at 5.
Ooh, we're counting down. Okay.
We're counting down to like the hottest hottie of my hot dreams. Like this is
I
the
just
person.
like Finn Balor is kind of a given. It's just like Finn Balor, Finn Balor, Finn Balor.
The next time we have you on, it's just gonna be a poster of Finn Balor in the back.
That's in the bedroom.
That's not here. That's in a special place.
I love
That's
that.
a special place.
All right, so my top 5. Let's do at number 5, Jungle Boy. I love Jungle
Okay.
Boy. I love me
Oh, okay.
some beautiful,
That beautiful
luscious hair.
hair.
He's got some
Yeah.
really good pecs. Like he's so sweet, super athletic. He's at number 5. Number 4, definitely be, don't judge me, Joey, Marco Stunt. Marco is like the
I'm not
cutest,
judging you.
the cutest person to me. It's so unfortunate that he's tiny because like I would marry him, but I'm 5'8" and he's like 5'3".
Oh, but that'd be so cute. I think
He's
you guys actually be cute together.
Honestly, I stand.
He's so sweet. He loves music. He writes songs. He plays the guitar. And the first time I saw him at MLW, like I think Teddy saw it when I said that I loved this man. I was like, oh my God, I love him. And I think it was love at first sight, honestly. I tweet him, but he does not
can we just
respond.
put like a Taylor Swift song in the background because this is turning into
like it like love story. We're gonna get copyrighted, but I'll put another song in there, like something romantic. All right. Rest friend. I'm sorry. Number 3 is MJF. He is so beautiful to me, and I think he's funny. And just based on the fact that he makes me laugh, I'm just like he's there because I like funny guys. At number 2,
and he got a booty.
Oh my God. Okay. Rest friend is looking at me like, shut up. At number 2, we are going to go with Sheamus. Oh my God. I love Sheamus. That man is so
like current day
Sheamus,
Sheamus, right?
Oh my God. Oh, any day Sheamus. I think I've always loved Sheamus.
Oh, any day?
Yeah.
I didn't like him back in the day, but like Sheamus now is starting to age like fine wine. Like
the king of glow ups though. Like, oh my goodness. Yeah. That man is fantastic. And at number 1 is, of course, my musician love, Elias, who has just the most beautiful hair.
Okay.
Can play all the damn instruments and has amazing legs. I think that's what it is.
Let me tell you guys that I know restaurant Edie like the back of my hand, and she has not only a top 5, she has a top 10, a top 20.
I probably have a top 30.
Don't we all?
But those top 5,
top 30.
Those are the top 5 people she talks about the most. And wow,
thank you, rest friend. It was hard for me to like come up with that. I mean, like 5, like I could have given you 100.
Exactly. She really could have.
I'm right there with you. If we just want to stop reviewing wrestling and just talk about hot men,
we are in the intermission. I'm going to put that disclaimer. We have an intermission.
Yes, I love that.
So if you want to skip this part and
can it be hold on.
Go ahead.
Intermention.
You're great. You're great.
Oh my God. People are going to be like, this is why I don't watch Rest Friends, because you guys only sexualize men or something like that.
I'm sorry. Okay, here. Please put this into this whole disclaimer is yes, I know a lot of people, if they see this, will come for me because they're just like, oh, he's just another thirsty gay guy. Y'all, for some reason, it is so unacceptable to lust after a guy. But if you see some dude that's just like, oh my God, I'm still obsessing over the fact that Sable put handprints on her titties 25 years ago, that's fine. And it's just kind of like, you know what? I would never disrespect another human being, and I would never want to make any other human uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you're pretty and I think that you're hot, then I'm going to let you know that. And if you would wish for me to stop, that person can let me know, and I will. But like...
But until they slide in my DMs and tell me to stop.
Well, yeah, like I'm never going to offensively just be like, oh my God, like lust for after a person. Like even if I met
Right.
Finn Balor, like yes, in the back of my brain, it would be like, oh my God, this man's gorgeous, but it's still a professional type of manner. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Just want to put that out there in the world. Like it shouldn't be one side versus the other on this. Like if you're going to sexualize someone for being half naked, men can do it too. Like,
Yeah.
That's totally true. And a lot of the times, Teddy and I, people are like, "Oh my God, you guys only like wrestling because of the guys." First of all, that's only one part.
That's part of it for sure.
Part of it for sure. But like, we love the art of it. We are knowledgeable on the subject, and it's something that we've been watching since we were little. Like, if I have a crush or two, it happens. You know, it happens.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
I
harmless.
mean, you're gonna have a crush or two. Like even
Or
going back to the
minor.
Power Rangers, like the Red Ranger was how I knew I was a homosexual. Like it's just kind of how it
It was
works.
the Red Ranger.
Oh, it was the Red Ranger, and then it was Josh Server from All That.
I'm here for it.
Oh, I'm here
I'm
for
here
it
for it.
too.
First, fun, are you
I'm
gonna
all
give us
Those
your top
two.
5?
My top 5 is non-existent. I am loyal to. I
One
know people are gonna
man
be like,
and one man
this
only.
B is bullshitting. I am loyal to 2 men and 2 men only. My
Oh, I know
boyfriend
this.
Sergio and Hangman Adam Page.
This is
That's it.
accurate.
That's it.
She loves her some
Okay.
Hangman.
I love me
And
some
let me tell
Hangman.
you, I'm gonna vouch for best friend right now because
Okay.
we were at C2E2, and listen, before all of this, I was like, oh, she loves Hangman Page, like whatever, yeah. I'm like, okay, I don't see it. Why does Hangman Page walk right in front of us and my mouth dropped? I was like, oh, he's beautiful. He's really something else
He
in
is
person.
beautiful.
And I was like, best friend, I get it. I get it. I totally see it.
She would always tell me like, okay, Miss Ryan, whatever. And see, too, she would not stop staring at him.
Literally, he was
She
just like,
wouldn't.
he was just amazing to look at. And I was like, I see it. I totally get
It's
it.
so
But
crazy
you,
how different he looks in person. He's beautiful.
Yeah. But yeah,
oh,
best
I
friend,
bet. I mean, he
that's your top 2.
looks beautiful not in person.
Not in person. Oh, I agree. But no, in person, let me tell you, when the first time that I ever saw him in person was outside of the Pro Wrestling Tea store. And I was there with my boyfriend. And I knew who Hangman was, but I didn't really pay too much attention to him. I was a huge fan of the Bullet Club because they were still in the Bullet Club, but I was like, you know what I mean? But he was standing right in front of us, and I was like, that's
We were like,
Hangman Page, right?
wow.
So just like, yeah. So when we left and we were walking to the car, I was like, Hangman Page is a hunk. And my boyfriend's like, yep. That's how
Sergio did not
gorgeous he
deny.
is. Sergio did not deny. Now he denies it. Well, he hates it because I do talk a lot about Hangman Page, you know, but he's a gorgeous man. So yeah, that's it. I only Hangman Page and my boyfriend. Those are the only 2 men in my life.
For real. Best friend, I
Okay.
applaud you for
I'm
only being
giving you
loyal
the
to 2
sure
men.
Jan eyes.
I know you are, Joey. I know you are. I know you're one of those people that are like, okay. You know, I used to be like obsessed with Finn Balor, but I swear the moment I met Hangman Page, I was like, Finn Balor who? I swear.
Okay, getting back to Flip Gordon. Getting back to Flip Gordon. We're
Let's
racing
get back
this.
to Flip Gordon. Okay, intervention is over.
Intervention is over, yes.
Hold on.
Flip
Can I
Gordon.
get something real quick? Because I
Go
just
ahead,
need
go
it
ahead.
after that conversation.
Go ahead.
1 second. I will be right back.
Okay, what is he gonna get?
Oh my God, he's got the Jericho poster. I have that one.
The one you're gonna give to Mario?
Yeah, I have to send that out. He's probably watching this and be like, where the is my poster?
Woo, child. Like, just, Lord. Like,
Joey.
ooh, we is gonna, like, it is.
Oh my goodness. Go ahead, Rosemary. Go ahead. Where's he going? Where's he going? What's he doing? Flip, if you're watching this,
Wow.
which I doubt you are.
Oh,
Hey.
I doubt
He's
it.
gonna- Everyone
Let
that
me-
watches your
you
shows,
know-
who is this pervy little
They're gonna-
white boy?
They're gonna look. No, if anything, they're gonna look up Flip Gordon. They're gonna be like, "Wait, what?" And they're gonna be like, "Oh,
the same day that I met Hangman. Well, that I met Hangman Page. I actually met and took a picture with Flip Gordon. Had a whole ass conversation with him. He's a beautiful human being. He's such a nice
Mm-hmm.
person. He's one of the nicest wrestlers I've ever met. Right next to Tommy Dreamer.
Oh my
But
God, Tommy
anyway,
Dreamer.
back to Flip Gordon, and I'm gonna watch my words now. Back to Flip Gordon. He resigned. Resigned. Why do I keep saying that? He resigned.
resigned.
No.
He just got
He
there.
resigned. Re-signed. He signed a contract again with Ring of Honor.
Good for
Um,
him.
good for him. Yeah, I'm so happy for him. It's weird because he hasn't been on social media, but yeah, good for Flip Gordon. I can't wait to keep seeing him on Ring of Honor, and hopefully Ring of Honor comes back up and we start seeing great stuff out there too. But Deonna Purrazzo, is that how you say her name? Deonna
Yeah, Purrazzo, right?
This the
Purrazzo,
virtuosa.
the
Yes.
virtuosa. She recently signed with Impact, and we know that she left NXT. Are you guys happy for her like I am?
I
I'm
am happy
so
for her.
excited for her.
I don't think she was being used properly.
At
And
all.
Ring the Bell actually has a really good interview with Deonna.
Yes, and she let it all pour out with DS. Like, she did not hold anything back.
Yeah.
And it kind of is just a testament to her because, I've worked with Deonna on shows in the past, mainly down in Florida with like Shine and things like that. And I've only met her like in passing, but just from the things that I've seen her do in wrestling and for being as young as she is and already being at the level that she's at, she's got the brightest future and everything in the world going for her. So I kind of hope she can parlay her Impact run into something like AEW or WWE just to get her name out more.
Yeah. To me, she's a Charlotte Flair and Tessa Blanchard without the last names, without having that background that they do. That's how I see her.
Yes.
That's a real interesting way of putting that, Rest Friend. That's really, I see it.
Yeah, she's great. She's great. So I'm so happy that she's on Impact, and hopefully we see way more of her than what we saw on NXT ever.
Well, we
Who are
shall
you
see
guys
about
excited to
that.
see her fight in Impact?
I want to see now after the whole Tesla controversy. I want to see how they work in the ring if they put them together.
Tessa just got a lot going on.
Because Deonna was one of the ones that came out and said like, yeah, that Tessa is well,
Yeah.
really mean. And there's video footage of them in a match, and Deonna's being a little harsh because apparently before the match something went on in the
Something
locker
happened.
room.
Yeah.
So I want to see how that works.
I mean, I want to see that, but I really want to see Deonna versus Taya.
Oh, Taya
Yeah,
is
I
always good
agree.
at matches. I think that they would both put on a really, really good show. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm an advocate for everyone beating Tessa's ass. So
Let Deonna
I
be one of
mean,
them.
let Deonna be one. Sign her up. Let's do it. There's so much.
because you want to talk about people being handed the world. Charlotte Flair, people call her out a lot, but legit, Tessa Blanchard's holding the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. So like,
Yeah, and she's missing a couple tapings. So was reminding me of a little bit of like the Nyla Rose situation. I don't know if it's like the pandemic, if it's like, there is a lot going on in the world right now. So I'm kind of giving her the benefit of the doubt. But we'll have to see what happens with that.
Yeah.
Well, from what I know of, like, at least the people who have been diagnosed with COVID or been around it, because my mom's a healthcare professional.
Mm-hmm.
So the way you're able to go back to work is if you are symptomatic, you're legally required to stay quarantined for 14 days.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 2 weeks just for showing symptoms. And then if they were to get diagnosed with it, it's another 2 weeks. And then you have to have at least 2 negative tests come back in order to go back to work.
Okay.
That's a lot of time off. If it is, something like that. Keeping it on the women, let's talk about WWE and Becky Lynch. She recently announced that she's having a baby. We have a picture of the ultrasound that she wrote baby on. Just for like confirmation if you didn't know what it was.
Because we didn't know.
because if you didn't know, she put it all out there for us. They're being really open with WWE about the pregnancy. I didn't think we were going to get an ultrasound picture. I didn't think WWE would advertise it. But she did an interview with ESPN, and they asked her about like what she would think about returning. Do you guys think it's too soon for Becky to be talking about her return and when she hasn't even had the baby yet? What are you guys thinking?
If it wasn't in the middle of a global pandemic, I would say no, it's not too soon. But with everything going around, especially having a young one in your house, like, yeah, probably too soon to even talk about a 2021 return at this point. Because to think about it, she's due in October, I believe.
Think, what is it, December maybe? December-ish?
Oh, it's December.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, December to WrestleMania after just having a baby is not enough time.
Yeah,
and
no.
SummerSlam stretching it. And then to think about the idea of trying to combat a disease and, probably being in a hospital to deliver the baby. Yeah, I'm guessing we won't see Becky Lynch until 2022 is my bet, is when we'll start to see her again. Maybe 2022 Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we get her back at a Rumble.
I definitely think it's too soon to be asking her that, for her to be thinking about that. First, as women, you are pressured into, when people ask you, are you going to have kids, and okay, now she's pregnant, she's going to have a kid, but now she's being asked if she's going to come back, and she doesn't even have a huge belly yet. I think it's too soon. But I hope she comes back, and like you guys said, 2022 Royal Rumble, that would be great. The best surprise.
Oh my God, the best surprise would be a 2022 Chicago Rumble and Becky Lynch comes back. Oh my God, that would be a dream.
Okay, that'd be perfect.
I also want to say that it's kind of sad to think about how right you are on how women are just kind of viewed as, okay, so if you're going to have a kid, does that mean it's the end of your career? It's like, why does that need to be the end of her career? Like,
right.
Yes, she can come back if she wants to. She's still a young woman. She's going to have the kid. And then that's it. Like, it's just a natural part of life. It shouldn't have to be oh, you're a mom, you're going to stay at home and do whatever. No, put freaking Seth Rollins back there. Let him take care of the kid. She's the man. Like,
yeah. Why can't Seth take much? Seth probably will take like paternity leave, maternity leave, whatever.
You know what?
I'm sure they'll give him the time.
We need a little break from the Messiah, so have him stay home.
I mean, I don't need a little break from the Messiah
if that means
now,
no
but, like,
Austin Theory, I'm going to be very upset.
That's another top 5 list.
It's another top 5.
But I do agree with what you guys are saying in the interview. She also mentioned that there's a lot of other women who have had children and come back. She mentioned Maurice. Yeah. She mentioned Lacey Evans. There's women who have had babies and come back. Brie Bella. There's a lot of women, so you can do it. Asuka. Yeah. So,
which I didn't know, by the way.
I had no idea either until Becky Lynch said it. I was like, what?
I had no idea. I was like, wow.
I'm glad that she gets the opportunity to experience motherhood. I'm unsure about motherhood myself, but like I got really emotional when she announced the pregnancy. I was like so happy for her, especially because we got to see her go through this journey of being an underdog, of not being pushed, and the way that people just got behind her. And she was on cereal boxes, she was in commercials, she was in movies, and I'm just like, wow, like she has it all, and it's insane. And now she gets to experience motherhood.
She is now one of those people. She's a John Cena now. The Rock, those people that my friends and family that don't watch wrestling know who Becky Lynch is. They know who The Rock is. Mm-hmm. They know who the I was gonna mention The Rock again. They know who The Rock is. They know who Ric Flair is, John Cena, and now they know who Becky Lynch is, which is beautiful.
I'm so excited.
And that's amazing
for everything that's to come for Becky.
It's also kind of nice to see how WWE is treating pregnancy in her case, because they really haven't shown favor to that in the past. Like, let's not even get started on Lita's whole storyline with Snitsky. But even like the real life pregnancy of Karma, when she came out and announced her pregnancy, it was still the Bella twins coming out of all people currently and ripping into the fact that she was pregnant and telling her that she's going to get fat and be bloated.
It was
and all
other
that
women still like coming in and saying something about it. Yeah.
So it's really amazing to see the fact that they're going to give her that platform. And I know it's all for press. Like, of course, they're going to milk that for all the free press that it's worth.
Oh, definitely. Becky's one of their biggest stars. They're not gonna like. Can you imagine the hate that they would get if they didn't back Becky on this?
Yeah.
So much hate, and it's good for them to just do a positive outlook and not just kind of write her off and be like, well, she's pregnant, we'll hopefully see her again, kind of deal. And just, it was very nice.
Yeah, and I hope when she comes back, it is like a really big moment. If she comes back, I will totally be okay with Becky Lynch not coming back and wanting to, if she wants to stay home and be a mom and take care of her kids. And if she ends up saying, you know what, I had a good run, I think this is it. She could just be like, maybe come back and have like a last match. I totally be okay with that too. Whatever she wants to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
what else does she have to do besides, maybe win Money in the Bank? That's really all the tag team championships.
Yeah, maybe she would come back and maybe try to be Grand Slam champion. Who knows? Maybe her and Charlotte could be a tag team. And that's how they get.
And you know what? When we were speaking about Sasha earlier, that's something I want to see before if Sasha really does leave. If Sasha decides to ever leave, I would love to see the 4 Horsewomen work together.
Oh my God, that match is still something that needs to happen. Like
that's
a WrestleMania main event.
That would be a while because.
Oh, that would be great. Or even like 4 against 4. Like,
I think them working together. I would love to see them working together. But by the time Becky comes back, and who knows, I don't know, a lot of things could happen. Never know if we're.
Because I love the whole 4 Horsewomen versus 4 Horsewomen idea when like Ronda was active and everything.
Yeah, I love
that.
But
I actually don't really want Ronda back, period.
I don't want Ronda back, but if they only bring her back for this storyline, I'd be okay with it.
I agree.
Please no more Ronda.
Honestly. But she's probably in her bunker somewhere too.
She's definitely in a bunker.
She's in a bunker right now.
Well, if she's not, someone please figure out where she's at so we can debunk that rumor.
I love it.
I'll be quiet now. I'll leave.
I'm here for it. Well, with everything going on right now, COVID-19, the pandemic, as COVID-19 and the pandemic, Joey, there has been a lot of things that WWE and AEW have done to like social distance. WWE now has like these hockey plexiglass, like walls between
I
the
love
ring
that,
and them.
actually.
What do you guys think about that?
Like, I love it. I kind of think, I think it's weird having the PC recruits out there and continually acknowledging that they're the PC recruits. I don't know. It just kind of at this point seems that they're trying to follow suit with what AEW started out doing, which is kind of weird. Honestly, if you're going to test people regularly and still keep them at a social distance, then, try to find like some family or friends or someone who's not directly at the PC, and bring them in to be fans.
Right.
Because it's, for some reason now, kind of odd that to see like, Shotzi on NXT diving off the ring apron and being this wild and out character, and then seeing her be a very humble, out of gimmick PC student.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, why it feels kind of odd compared to AEW, because they're still, when they're in the crowd, being their brash, kayfabe kind of gimmick selves.
Themselves, yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem that way when they put the PC recruits out there.
What I was telling Edie, yeah, sure, they're the reassuring people, like, okay, we're, the people in the audience are still 6 feet apart, but I'm like, they still go backstage and they're together. You know what I mean? So to me, that point's like whatever. But yeah, you're right, Joey. It felt like they were put there to work not to be, enjoying the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were just standing there like, I don't know. I found it a little bit weird.
But I also think that WWE, Raw and SmackDown still have way more viewership than NXT. And for them to put the NXT people in the crowd, I think for the first time, this was, people witnessed maybe NXT talent. So maybe people didn't know about a Shotzi, maybe they didn't know about a Casey. And they're like, oh, since people don't know these wrestlers, let's just put them in WWE merch. So, you saw that merch.
Yeah.
And it was weird seeing that many people in the Performance Center after seeing it empty for so long. But they were like exactly 6 feet apart, which I thought was a little weird because AEW just has people like sitting next to each other and like going for it, whatever.
Right. Right.
So it's just really different dynamic for each show.
I really honestly doubt WWE thought about the NXT stars and they were like, oh, let's put more light onto them for people to get to know them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. It definitely did make the show better though,
Oh, the crowd definitely helped.
Jeff Hardy's segment on Friday. Joey, do you wanna start that off?
I will start it off because Lord, that was a segment. Like SmackDown popped on and it was Renee Young standing outside of an emergency situation, and then it was kind of just fun to see that whole thing pan out. Like we've never really seen anyone take, because Jeff Hardy's had those struggles in life to where they've been making fun of it and poking at it on WWE TV since CM Punk's era with the Straight Edge Society. Mm-hmm. So to really bring this kind of storyline out was something I was like, ooh, this is some solid storytelling right now.
Yeah.
So you liked it? You were here for it?
I was here for it. If you watch my show Tops and Bottoms from this week, that was one of my top moments. And then his return at the end of the show was one of my bottom moments, because you literally gave us this opening segment of like, substantial story of like what's going on with Jeff Hardy, what happened to Elias. Erie, I'm sure you were very, very concerned about it.
I was worried.
You're like, my man.
I was concerned. I'm like,
no more song.
Who? And I'm like, Jeff could never. And it was like, I was like, Jeff, I love Jeff, and Elias, I love Elias, and you're gonna put them all, and then Sheamus was involved. Oh my God, it was a lot for me to handle. I need to be one of those fans.
I've got like
you
5.
Sure do.
But legit, like at the very end, like Jeff Hardy just comes running back. I'm like, we just saw a homeboy stuffed into the back of a police car at the top of the show, and you're just gonna have him
arrested.
Right? And now you're just going to have him run out during the main event and attack Sheamus with no storyline to back it. Like, not even a checkup on the update during SmackDown. Like,
yeah, commentary didn't mention anything about it either. So I was just like, what?
And I'm like, it's literally like someone comes and hands you like the best appetizer in the world, and then the entree sucks. Like,
I didn't appreciate that storyline, though I don't appreciate a lot of WWE storylines.
I mean, I'm one of those people, I can't remember exactly what spot it was. It was when Jake kept putting the snake on Brandy, and it was it looked really inappropriate.
Yeah.
It did look very inappropriate.
Yeah, and Moxie and I were discussing that, and I'm like, as both of us are workers, it's kind of one of those things where, is it bad if the person who is doing it is also in on it? Like, you approved of the storyline, you approved of as long as you're consenting with your story and your body, I'm 100% think that's okay. Especially if, because if the storyline is going to be that Sheamus is, which it seems like it's going to be, like he's the horrible person who set up, Jeff Hardy to be in this. Because he was like, I haven't been drinking. And they're like, you smell like alcohol. So it seems like the way that it's going to play out is that Sheamus set up Jeff Hardy and almost killed Elias, apparently.
Yes.
So, yeah. I mean, I like that.
I see your point, Joey. And a part of me agrees. You're right. But I mean, my first reaction without first reading what everyone else thought, I was like, what the heck? I'm like, okay.
Mhm.
So then I started thinking more deep into it, and like Edie said, maybe because I'm a Jeff Hardy fan and I've been since, you know, his early days. I felt like it was a little insensitive just because those his alcoholism is a struggle of his. So I feel like, I don't know, maybe what if um how does he really feel? And then we also know WWE, you know, we've heard it from John Moxley when he left WWE. We've heard it from I can't think right now, but a lot of other people that have left WWE. A lot of the times they don't agree with the storylines, but it's their job. You know, they have
Yeah.
to go with it. But I don't know. I guess I'm just thinking more of like Jeff Hardy's mental health side, but we don't know how he feels, right? So I can't start assuming stuff without really knowing.
Yeah, and if
Right.
Jeff agreed with it, you know, that's on, you know, that's on Jeff.
Right.
But did it catch
Like
me
for all
off
we know,
guard?
he wrote the storyline.
Yeah, for you know, and
You're right.
he said before that he doesn't have a problem with like WWE using, you know, this as a storyline. But I was just like, just because he's okay with it doesn't mean you
Doesn't mean it's
should.
okay. I mean, Matt Hardy
Well, here's the other.
was upset.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Joey.
Yeah. The other flip side to that is I've said it before when actually my good friend, his name's Eric Child. He's a manager down in Florida. We were talking about it is, you know, the fact that we're disgusted and that we're like, oh, are they really bringing this up? Oh, is this really what's happening? Is that also good storytelling? Because you're also now invested in the fact that, oh, this is disgusting. You know, it's making you feel. So if you are feeling that emotion and you are outraged, that's a good story, because if you're invested in it, and you know, even if it's a negative emotion, you're still emotionally invested in the story. So as long as I think Jeff's on board with it and he's okay with the fact that this is happening, then I'm okay with it. But if it comes out where he's like, you know, I don't approve and I didn't like that they used my life in this way, kind of like how it happened to Lita, who's kind of close to him. It's like, you know, she left the business because they brought her personal life into it. Yeah. And it's like, you know, if it's that scenario, then no. But if he's wanting to do it and he's wanting to put himself in that limelight with that, then, you know, more power to you.
Right. You're right.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Joey, I want to talk to you about your YouTube channel and what you have going on. I'm super excited. I think it's extremely entertaining. But tell us about, you know, your new show.
Well, I never thought I would be in an aspect to where like one of my jobs is to just talk about wrestling. Like I never thought that would be me, because you know, as much as, because I have a theater degree, I'm always behind a camera. I've always wanted to be in front of people on a stage behind a camera or something like that. And that's kind of how I parlayed into wrestling, because I've always loved it. And then to come up here and not really find much success in the ring, but then find a bunch of success, you know, online and behind a camera has been kind of crazy. So I'm on Ring the Bell and we talk about women's wrestling, and I really just wanted to talk about men's wrestling. I wanted to do something because I'm like, if I'm going to sit here and watch all this hour of professional wrestling anyway, I want to talk about all of it and not just the women's division, despite the fact that that's the main reason I'm watching. I do love the women's division. I started watching wrestling because of the women's division. Like Lita was the first person to really bring me into wrestling. So, you know, it's kind of awesome to now be in this era where I'm seeing, you know, nothing but women's wrestling. I mean, it kind of feels like that some days where it's like, oh, this whole show was women. And to think about that has been fantastic. So the way my new show came about was, it's called Tops and Bottoms, and I take the top 5 moments of wrestling, and I give you my unbiased opinion towards all of it, and hopefully people find it entertaining. But I was just like, you know what, this is something I want to do. So I messaged DS and I'm like, what do you think about this and men's wrestling? And he's like, I don't like men's wrestling. I don't want to help edit that. And I was like, you know, which is fine. You know, I don't blame him because, you know, since I've been doing this, I've learned how tedious editing is. Like editing is the hardest thing, you know, about producing a show.
Mhm.
So if, you know, you don't want to spend your time and you're not invested in that, I don't blame him whatsoever. Like I wouldn't want to do that if I wasn't invested in what I was creating. So with Tops and Bottoms, I literally said, I want to do this. I picked up my phone. I'm learning iMovie from scratch. I've never done this before. And so far it's gotten a well reception and I'm just enjoying what I'm doing.
And I think you know, you mentioned about being like now a wrestling journalist, and I think you are great at interviewing. There is a time.
Thank you. I think I'm so bad.
No, I think you're so good. There was a time at what is it, AEW Revolution, where we met up before the show and we all had lunch, dinner, whatever you want to call it. But you
Some
were
bomb-ass meatball subs.
Yes, you were on your way to press for AEW, and you actually got a chance to speak to Brandy Rhodes, to Nyla Rose, to Tony Khan, and you asked Tony Khan like one of the most phenomenal questions that I've heard, and it was just about the women's division. And you know, I think you represented yourself really well. You introduced yourself, and Tony was kind of like, oh, like this guy knows what he's talking about. He's a little serious about, you know, things. What is something that you enjoy about interviewing?
I have just okay, so it was my first time ever being around like, you know, the press, and it was really interesting because it was such an eclectic group of people that got shoved in this back room with this AEW marquee behind it. And like there was everyone there from like, you know, I was representing Ring the Bell for our YouTube channel, but I was there with like the Chicago Tribune and like all these other wrestling sites, and including like all these bloggers and like this tiny child who I'm now obsessed with because I don't remember their name, but I keep seeing his interviews pop up, and it's just like this 8-year-old kid who's all of a sudden a wrestling journalist.
It's clearly going places.
Is it AJ
Apparently
or something
so.
like that?
I want to say, yeah. I was like, oh, I didn't know you existed, but you're adorable.
Yeah.
That was really interesting, just to be a part of that, because, you know, most of my life, I always dreamed that I would be the person that was getting interviewed. Like I'd be up on that stage. And I didn't really know how nerve-wracking it was to really just be a press, I don't know what even a journalist, because you're literally pushed up in this little huddle in front of everyone, and you're supposed, you know, you're like, Brandy, me over here, let me ask my question. And I, you know, was just kind of thrust into this. Like I've never done anything like it before. And it was just a wild experience. And to hear that, you know, people are like, oh, what you asked was so natural and it's something, is just incredibly humbling, because like you can watch some of the videos. I posted the full interview links on my YouTube channel. You can kind of see it. Like I'm just sitting there like, okay, I got my phone. I'm so nervous.
No,
Which,
it was so entertaining, you know, to watch that, because we did experience your nervousness before, but we were like, Joey, you got this. You're dressed really, really nice. The nicest
You
we've
looked
seen you dressed.
amazing.
We saw you during
thank
the
you
whole,
so
you know,
much.
during the show. We saw you across the arena. We were like, oh my God, look, there's Joey, and he still looks so good.
Yeah.
It's the one guy in the arena wearing a suit jacket, like
when everyone else was wearing t-shirts.
It was enough that when I came in to do press, the lady who was checking me in was like, I just want to get some shots of how nice you look, and just like took pictures of me. And I was like, okay, hopefully you're not creepy, but thank you.
Oh my God. But you also have, you know, some of your matches on your YouTube channel. I watched you in a match with Santana Garrett, and I was like, oh, okay, Joey, I see you.
I can go, but like, that's not to like toot my own horn. It's been kind of interesting, especially working on Ring the Bell with like Paloma, who's, you know, just Paloma is a girl who gets it. She is traveling, she is getting bookings, like girl is making her name, making her coin. And that was me in Florida. Like I was driving, you know, from Miami to Jacksonville to Orlando to Atlanta, and just, trying to get after it for so many years. So to come into this new environment where people are like, oh, why is this kid qualified for anything? It's just kind of like, oh yeah, nobody knows that I wrestled full time, like hardcore for 3 years. Like, nobody cares. So it's kind of like when people check out matches and actually see me wrestle, they're like, oh, you actually kind of know what you're talking about and you can wrestle. I'm like, yes, I know what I'm doing.
You're like, I can back it up.
Yeah, and it's so the reason I'm not wrestling as much as I was in 2016, that summer from May to July. So just 3 months, I had 4 concussions, and like the doctor was literally like, yo, stop. And I was like, okay, cool. So now I'm kind of wrestling on a Lesnar schedule. At the very core of everything that's wrestling, we all start out as fans. Whether or not you're in the ring, you're backstage, you're a fan of the product. And that's why I think, you can tell when someone's passionate about what they're doing.
Yeah. And that's a lot of the times that, that we have an episode, we talk about, like, if you want to start a YouTube channel, do it. If you love wrestling, don't be scared to talk about it. Don't be scared to, you could start your own website. You could start your own YouTube. What's holding you back? You as a fan, you have a lot of knowledge, especially if you have been watching for years like we have. So I think, the more encouragement that we give people, the better.
Well, also, everyone, if anyone is like doubting themselves and saying, I can't do this, or, what qualifications do I have? If you love something and you're passionate about it, that's all the qualifications you really need. Don't let anybody tell you that you're not worthy of having an opinion. Don't let anyone tell you that you're not qualified enough to have an opinion. Everyone's opinion is valid as long as it's you're being a solid person and you're being kind, and B, you're not spreading a message of hate. Other than that, your opinion is completely valid, and you should be able to voice about things that you care about. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And if they do, kick them in the nuts and tell them to go fuck off. And that's what you do. And that's life.
And you keep going.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that, Joey. Yeah, you're so right. I agree with him. I know me and Edie feel the same. Like, look at us. Whoever thought we'd be on YouTube, talking about wrestling with, a couple subscribers, and now we made a friend, Joey. We met Joey at a wrestling show.
Yes.
And look at us now. Look at us now. This is, yeah. Listen to Joey. Go after what you love.
And yes, and you have to.
And please attach those pictures of the fence.
So, Joey, tell us where to go to find everything about you. Where are we subscribing? Who are we following on Twitter?
If you want to find me, I'm on every form of social media. Like, if it's there, I'm pretty much on it. It's Joey_Mayberry across all platforms, including TikTok, finally, because my old one got deleted. But also my YouTube channel, if you just search Joey Mayberry, the first one that pops up, because I like to pop. And then my new show, Tops and Bottoms, drops every single Sunday at 10 a.m. I host a watch party each and every Sunday for it. Even if there's nobody there, I'm there watching my own show by myself in the chat. Also find me on Ring the Bell. That show drops every single Sunday as well. So it's just Joey's Sunday Fun Day.
Joey's Sunday Fun Day. We are here for it. You guys have to go and make sure that you subscribe to Joey, because honestly, he's got some of the greatest interviews on his channel, and Ring the Bell too is just so great. When they review NXT specifically and AEW, Joey and Moxie, are so great.
I love my Moxie Molly. She is my partner in wrestling crime. And I tell you, it's kind of crazy because getting put on that show, I didn't know Moxie beforehand. So Paloma was actually who brought Moxie onto Ring the Bell. So I met Moxie at this sushi place downtown Chicago, and DS was like, you two are going to host a show. And we were like, cool. And then I just made a new sister for life right then and there. Like, didn't know.
I love that. I know. I got to meet her. She has such a The energy she has on her, I love it so much.
She is just one of the most, like, you know, those people that just walk in and you're just like, that's a positive person. Like, just the aura she gives off,
Yeah.
the pleasantry. Like, Moxie is just one of the best people.
I have yet to meet Moxie, so that's a
Oh.
dream of mine.
We're gonna fix that.
2021. Let's do it. 2021. I'm writing it on my bucket list.
Oh,
Yeah, Joey, thank you so much for being on with us this week. We had a great time. It's been a fantastic show. We appreciate you.
So much fun.
oh, I love you guys so much. Like, if you just want to stop the recording and we can just still sit here and talk, I'm so down.
So, all right, guys, thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Arrest Friends. Joey, thank you so much for being on. Make sure that you guys go and subscribe to his channel. I will put the link down in the description box below. And make sure you hit the notification bell for him. Hit the notification bell for us. Subscribe to us. Like, let's do it. We have to connect this wrestling community. And Joey is also going to be on our podcast. So we're super excited for that. It's just a Joey week. It's a Joey Mayberry week.
It's Joey week. It's the Rest Friend Joey week. Bye, Rest Friend.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.